Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Well, hello, I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It is Wednesday the 10th, and we have Gilly Macmillan. See, I'm trying to read my handwriting. And she's got a book called I Know, You Know. And guess what we're going to do? Since it's a winning Wednesday, we're going to give away a copy of this book. So if you're interested in reading stuff, might want to check that out. We've got it on our page, johnandheidishow.com. I'm also going to start pushing these out, the Winning Wednesday stuff, through our social media. I didn't do that the last 2 weeks. I don't know why. I just forgot to. So we only had a few people sign up, so congratulations to the winners. Then I was thinking, why in the world? What happened? I thought maybe it was something with the book, but it wasn't. It was that I forgot to send it out. So anyway, that's my hashtag, my bad. We do have Gilly Macmillan on the program later today talking about her book, I Know, You Know. Also, here's a good quote from Pierre-Joseph Proudhon. He said, "When deeds speak, words are nothing." Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. If you have a dog, listen to this. FreshPatch.com is a subscription service that will send you a box with a fresh patch of grass for your dog to use for a few weeks. Then they send you a new fresh patch and you discard the old one. You can throw it in the trash, use it for compost, or even put it in your yard and it'll grow into the ground. FreshPatch.com has thousands of happy dog families who love this concept, especially in the colder months. Try it now for a little less. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com, promo code RADIO. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Wednesday, the 10th day of October. It's National Curves Day. I see you're celebrating. Hubba, hubba.
Oh, my gosh. What is... That's not very nice.
No, that's a good thing. You got curves. You got good curves. She's my wife, and I like her curves. Is that a bad thing? What's wrong with that? I don't think that was bad. National Angel Food Cake Day. I see you're celebrating. I don't know what that means. National Cake Decorating Day. National Handbag Day. World Mental Health Day. National Emergency Nurses Day. National Bring Your Teddy Bear to Work or School Day. And National Stop Bullying Day. And I see I'm not celebrating, but I will right now.
Every day should be Stop Bullying Day.
And I'm going to quit bullying Heidi. I'm just being silly. You know I didn't.
I know.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure everybody knows, because I wouldn't do that. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a winning Wednesday. Radio. It's a pretty amazing marketing tool. But like many tools, it works best when used properly. Like, let's take this weed whacker. I could use this to trim my hair. Yikes. Hope that grows back. But that's not what weed whackers are for. Tools work much better when you use them for their proper use, just like radio. If you want help making radio work better for your business, that's our business. RadioReallyWorks.com. Get better results with the money you're already spending. RadioReallyWorks.com. Time now for Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Heidi, tell me, Desert Pines, Las Vegas, Nevada, is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? Desert Pines.
I'm going to say golf course.
And you're going to be correct.
Woo!
Golf clap for Heidi, everybody. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com. And this is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Every day at this time, we make fun of people who are doing silly things under the influence, but you need to understand, addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, you can learn more at TimeForRehab.com. We head to Virginia, where a man attempted to kill his mother-in-law by putting meth in her coffee.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he got to go to prison for that. 56-year-old Jack Price reached a plea deal, 6 years in prison. He's accused of putting meth in his 95-year-old mother-in-law's coffee.
She's going to die on her own.
I don't understand why you would do that. That's Esther Price was admitted to the hospital last year, showing signs of meth in her system. At the time, Her granddaughter told authorities she suspected Jack Price was trying to kill her grandmother.
Oh, my gosh.
Esther also told authorities the day before she became ill, Jack had bought her some coffee, a gesture she said, was not an ordinary event for him. Anyway, they dropped a first-degree murder charge, attempted murder, with the plea, and then he got himself 6 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Bill Cosby's lawyers have filed a motion to overturn his prison sentence to get him out of prison early. So apparently he doesn't like it there.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't.
China has ordered actress Fran Bingbing to pay $70 million in tax fines.
Fran Bingbing.
I don't know who that is. I was just going to roll past it. Pretend like we knew. Heidi, act cool. We know who Fran Bingbing is. Isn't there a character on Star Wars with a name like that?
I don't
was that
watch
guy's
Star
name?
Wars. I don't know.
I can't think of it now.
I'm sorry.
Our son
I
will
don't
be
think
so
there's a Bing
disappointed.
Bing.
But it was something like that.
Okay.
Our son was all
I'll take your word
disappointed
for
about
it.
he didn't like that character. Anyway, whatever. Jimmy Fallon told the New Yorker Festival that he almost became a priest after serving as an altar boy when he was a kid, but he decided not to. So instead, he's Jimmy Fallon, does the Tonight Show. But he almost became a priest. There you go. A little bit of news there from Big Screen, Little Screen. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Radio. It's a pretty amazing marketing tool. But like many tools, it works best when used properly. Like, let's take this weed whacker. I could use this to trim my hair. Yikes. Hope that grows back. But that's not what weed whackers are for. Tools work much better when you use them for their proper use, just like radio. If you want help making radio work better for your business, that's our business. RadioReallyWorks.com. Get better results with the money you're already spending. RadioReallyWorks.com. Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by FreshPatch.com, promo code radio. Prosecutors want Fry Festival scammer Billy McFarland to get the maximum sentence of 20 years. He had a festival where festival goers paid thousands of dollars to only get stuck on an island in the Bahamas without ample food or drinking water.
Oh.
That doesn't sound like something people want to sign up for anytime soon. So they're saying throw the book at him, give him 20 years in prison. Now, I don't know if he planned poorly or if he just was planning, if he was trying to scam people. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I do have a link if you want to read all about it. It's in the show notes. A study by Carnegie Mellon University found that getting hugs makes people happier when they're having a tough day.
Yes, it does. I agree completely.
Carnegie Mellon University. Isn't that a prestigious place?
I have no idea. I've never heard of it. So it probably
You've
is.
never heard of it, so it probably is. I believe that may be an Ivy League school. You're doing studies like this. They found that getting hugs makes you happier if you're having a rough day.
Of course it does.
Who needs a
they didn't
study,
need a study
for that?
but of
Carnegie
course it
Mellon
does.
does not sound like the kind of thing you should be working on. A study by the Woodrow Wilson National Fellowship Foundation says 1 in 3 Americans could not pass a U.S. citizenship test. The best stat in the study, by the way, is 20% of people think the Cold War was caused by climate change.
Oh, my gosh.
What? You all know that it was really caused by a virus.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's a different kind of Cold War? The war on colds? That's not what it is? No, that's not what it is.
That
I'm
breaks
just being
my
silly.
heart,
That breaks my
actually.
heart, too, and I just... It's bad. A Michigan high school student is accused of giving pot brownies to her classmates in exchange for homecoming queen votes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a bad idea. You don't do that. I just don't get it. I've got a link to all of these stories, by the way, so for those of you who just need to know more, it's in the show notes. A Georgia court convicted a medical professional named Dr. Dick of sexually harassing his female patients. Well, that was just his last name, I believe. So I hope that wasn't just...
gosh.
I don't know. And our final story... And we probably should have stopped 3 stories ago. But Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. Or do you say Royal Caribbean? How do you say it?
Caribbean. I say Caribbean.
Oh, okay, good. You were a travel agent for a while, so you would know. Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines has issued refunds to passengers on an Australian ship that was taken over by a wild burlesque party. So there was a party that went wild and took over the entire cruise ship. And people got their refunds.
Wow.
There are others that would probably pay extra to be on that ship.
Right?
So I think it's cool that
I mean,
they
if
gave
it's a
you.
good time,
No, it's cool that they
as long
gave
as
you
they
the.
weren't harming anybody or anything, if they're just
I
having
don't know.
fun, just go with it.
I think it's cool they gave the people a refund, because I'm sure there are some that thought this is not what I signed up for. This has been today's Scoop of the Day. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. Timeforrehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We have a special guest joining us. Gilly Macmillan has a new book called I Know You Know. Gilly, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Well, thank you for taking the time to chat. I love that title. It's just a simple title, and it with very few words, says so much. I Know You Know. Let's talk a little bit about the book and where you came up with the idea for this book. And I know it's not your first, so we'll talk about those others too. But where did the idea for this book come from?
It came from two places. The first was my love of listening to true crime podcasts. And the second was an article I read about a cold case about the murder of two 11-year-old boys 20 years ago, and how there were some loose ends in the investigation, so the case was reopened. And I sort of put those two ideas together to create the premise for I Know You Know.
Now, like I said a moment ago, this is not your first book. You've got several others out there, and maybe best known for What She Knew. And again, I like, a very simple, short little title like that. When you work on a book, there's so much that goes into it, but how much time do you put into those titles? Because I think that makes a big difference. Is it hard to come up with a title so short that says so much?
It's really difficult, and it's not something I do on my own. It's something I work on with my publisher and with my agent. We all put our heads together, and then once we have something we like, we run it by the sales and marketing teams within the publishing company to make sure that they're happy with it. So it's quite a complex process with quite a lot of people involved, and I think, as you say, that's because it's such an important part of the book's package.
Again, Gilly Macmillan is a New York Times bestselling author, and you do suspense fiction. And why is that what you have chosen to do? Is there a specific reason that that's kind of your genre?
Because I absolutely love reading a good page-turner. There's nothing I like more than the kind of book you buy at the airport and take to the beach or curl up with and read in one day, because it's so gripping. So that's why I chose that genre.
Before becoming a published author and a New York Times bestseller, what were you doing before that?
I was teaching photography and raising my family. And I turned to writing because I've always been an absolutely avid reader, so I just wanted to see if I could write a book, and I was very fortunate.
Well, you've been very fortunate to write more than one. You've got several, and the new book is I Know You Know. Now, this is based in England, is that correct?
That's correct. It's based in the city of Bristol, where I live, which is in the UK.
And now, let's talk about the family that's in the book I Know You Know, and are any of these people still around, or I know that kind of some of them are based on real people. Are the real people still around, or not so much?
No, I kept it far away from real people. I fictionalized everybody just so that it wasn't too close to a real case, because I didn't think that was fair. So it's only very, very loosely based on a real case. It's pretty much entirely fictional. When
you put a book together, you have to kind of create a whole world. To do that, you got to create the world that they live in. How close to the world we live in is the world that they live in the book I Know You Know?
It's as close as I could make it. I really like to try and inject realism into my books. I would like the reader to feel as if they were there, or that they could be there. It's very, very important to me to make it feel like real life, because I think those are the books that really can make your heart pound the fastest when you're reading them.
Well, I know you already have one new fan in my wife Heidi. She's on the program with me. She doesn't ever do the interviews with me, but she's on the program with me here. And this is definitely her kind of book, and she's already reading this and loving it. So you've got a fan here, and I know you've got many others as well. Yeah, I'll definitely pass that on to her. Now, again, the book is called I Know You Know. It just recently came out, but people are loving this. What does that feel like when you have a new book come out and you're hearing so many positive, wonderful things about it?
It feels feels like an enormous relief because you spend so long working on it on your own, and then you spend even longer tweaking it with your publishers and your agent. So when it actually gets into the hand of readers, the people who it was written for in the first place, and if they enjoy it, it feels just like the most enormous relief. It's a wonderful feeling.
And how much time do you suppose between now and the next book that you're working on? Can you tell us at all what you're working on next?
I've just finished editing my next book, which is called The Nanny, and that is a book which is set in a country house in England, and it's about a nanny who turns up having left the family overnight unexpectedly for no obvious reason 20, 30 years ago, and she reappears in their lives unexpectedly one day. And it's a little bit different. It's a psychological thriller, and it's absolutely chilling me as I write it.
Well, we will be on the lookout for The Nanny in the near future, but right now, on shelves and online and available wherever books are sold, I Know, You Know, and Gilly Macmillan has been our guest. Gilly, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll make it really easy to find a copy of I Know, You Know by putting it in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
If you want to grow your business, you can add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers or a combination of both. There's no other way to grow your business. Just those two. Add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers. And if you already have a relationship with your customers and you have their email address, you can reach out to them with special offers to easily grow your sales, and you'll make your customers even happier. Let the experts at Constant Contact help. Get a free trial now. Text Radio Trial to number 22828. That's Radio Trial, all one word, to number 22828.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first person to perform a successful C-section in South Africa was Dr. James Berry, a doctor who was actually a woman. Yeah. James Berry was a woman.
Oh,
cool.
That's an interesting name for a woman.
I thought
James.
so too. That is why it was today's fun fact. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show. If you have a dog, listen to this. FreshPatch.com is a subscription service that will send you a box with a fresh patch of grass for your dog to use for a few weeks. Then they send you a new fresh patch and you discard the old one. You can throw it in the trash, use it for compost, or even put it in your yard and it'll grow into the ground. FreshPatch.com has thousands of happy dog families who love this concept, especially in the colder months. Try it now for a little less. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com, promo code RADIO. Now your grandiloquent word of the day, it's cockinate. What do you think cockinate means? Cachinate. Cockinate.
I honestly don't know.
To laugh very loudly, hard, or convulsively. You cockinate once in a while.
I do.
Yeah. I have another friend of mine who she's got like just the coolest laugh ever. I put your laugh and her laugh like right next to each other. I think we need to have a laugh off someday. We'll have to invite her in, and then I'll tell dumb jokes, and I'll see who I can make laugh more.
Yeah, you'd almost have to play a comedian.
Oh, you're saying that I'm not going to cut the mustard is what you're saying? Just go away. Go away. Go sit in the other room. You're listening to The John and Heidi Show, and this has been your word of the day. The grandiloquent word is cockinate. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com. Now some weird news coming your way on this Wednesday. A Naperville, Illinois man accused of using a stolen credit card to pay his court fines and those of several other people has been arrested on a felony identity theft charge.
That is such a bad idea. If you're going to use it somewhere,
don't do
why
that,
would
period.
you use it with?
That's the worst place. It's
right?
like, anybody else got some court fines they need paid? You? What's your name, Mike? Come on over, Mike.
I'll pay for everybody.
You can just make it good later. 28-year-old Brenton Thurman made multiple payments to the DuPage County Clerk's office back in March using stolen credit card. Added up to about $6,000. He paid his fines and other people's fines, and then he kept the cash that they gave him to pay their court fines.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Office finally discovered the fraud, notified the state's attorney. Guess where he is now?
Gee, I wonder.
$100,000 bond. He's like, you guys take credit cards? He's in a lot of trouble. It's a bad idea. He gets to go back to court October 29th. I've got a link in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. An Ohio woman allowed her 10-year-old son to get a tattoo from an unlicensed teenager. She's been charged with child endangerment. She is 34.
I would hope so.
Her son is 10. Doesn't have the kid's name in here because he's 10. But the mom's name is Nikki Dickinson. She was named in a misdemeanor criminal complaint filed in the court system. Local police learned of the child's tattooing after a video was uploaded to Facebook. A criminal complaint says here that the tattooing took place inside a residence amid, quote, unsanitary conditions. She recorded on her phone. Again, she's 34. The kid that was getting the tattoo is 10. The one giving the tattoo is 16.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. The complaint does not indicate what was in the tattoo, but it's not good. That's a bad idea. So, in this story, it says she was going to be, it's September 24th. I was thinking that's when she was going to court, but that's when the incident happened. See, some of these stories I have here are old.
Wow,
so
that is awful.
Bad deal. I do have a link to the story if you want to read all about it. It's in the show notes. So if you were planning on taking your 10-year-old for a tattoo later, might want to rethink that. In the show notes, all the details at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
If you want to grow your business, you can add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers or a combination of both. There's no other way to grow your business. Just those two. Add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers. And if you already have a relationship with your customers and you have their email address, you can reach out to them with special offers to easily grow your sales, and you'll make your customers even happier. Let the experts at Constant Contact help. Get a free trial now. Text Radio Trial to number 22828. That's Radio Trial, all one word, to number 22828.
Time now for Fake News or Florida. This is a little segment where we scour the internet to find only the best. Actually, I haven't had to scour for a long time. I get these things sent to me on a daily basis. I have at least 30 stories right now between fake news stories and Florida stories.
Okay.
So thank you for doing my job for me, everybody. I mean, that's awesome. So Heidi, tell me, is this fake news or is it something that really truly happened in the great state of Florida? Vero Beach man arrested after he broke into a home, got naked, and cooked spaghetti. Fake news or Florida?
Well, that happens all the time. So I don't know if you're just saying one just because it happens all the time. I'm just going to say Florida.
It is a true story. That did happen. What do you mean that happens all the time?
It happens all the time. We read those stories all the time. I thought you were going to say, no, it is not. It is not real. He was making ramen noodles. That's where I thought you were going to try and get me.
I didn't. What do you almost make it sound like I'm trying to make this hard for you to win. You don't get a prize, just so you know. I'm going to give you a hug and a kiss no matter what. She's my wife. I can do that. This has been another episode of Fake News or Florida. This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of Odiva. That is the monthly subscription service just for the ladies. All of the details at radiosavings.com. You ready for some good news?
I am always ready for good news.
As am I. Here's the headline. Every night for the last 10 years, a community has made sure that a woman in a wheelchair gets to bed. So this is such a cool thing. This is what you call a whole community pulling together and working together. They set a new standard for what it means to love thy neighbor. Every night for the last 10 years, the men of Sandy, Utah have taken turns making sure Kathy Felt gets to bed safely and comfortably.
The men?
She has multiple sclerosis. She slowly lost control of her motor functions as her disease progressed. She lost the ability to get in and out of bed in the morning get out of bed in the morning, and it seems as though she would have to check into a nursing home. But a neighbor by the name of Keith was not willing to let that happen. He didn't want his neighbor to be forced out of her home due to her disease. So he recruited the help of 60 men in the neighborhood to volunteer their assistance. They orchestrate a rotating schedule where 2 men show up at her home in the evening so they can lift her out of the wheelchair and into the bed. Then they remove her socks and cover her with blankets and turn off the lights before leaving the house. How cool is that? And this has been going on now for quite some time. And neighborhood men, if there's somebody that can't make it, somebody else fills in for them.
Well, that's nice. I was a little concerned when you were like, it was men. I was like, one at a time, these men are going into this woman's house. But if they're going in pairs, that's probably safer.
And I just think it's really cool. I've got a link to the story. It was on the local news there, I think, just the local news. Maybe it was the national news. It says CBS News, so I don't know if it was local or national. But I do have a link to the video and all of the details. Thank you, by the way, to the people who share good news with me or anything that you share. I appreciate that. I really do. You can see that and all the things that are shared in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.